today we are talking all things dress codes. Whether you're a resident in the UAE or considering to come to the UAE, we're going to bust the myths.
Because I actually got invited.
Oh, you did?
It was my first Emirati wedding. I was very, very conscious about what to wear.
But let's not forget men are held to
men.
the same dress codes. I mean, I hate it when you go to the beach and guys are in budgie smugglers and they don't have a great body and it just looks horrible. And I'm just
Some women here, they might think that if they wear abaya, they're actually mocking the tradition.
This is MannersUnfiltered. Learn about style. MannersUnfiltered, where you can learn all about the world of etiquette and manners.
So welcome to another episode of Manners Unfiltered with myself, Emma Brain, and my amazing co-host, Orchids Roy. And today we are talking all things dress codes. Whether you're a resident in the UAE or considering to come to the UAE, we're going to bust the myths, because there are lots of them, and basically take a deep dive into the history of the local attire and what you should and shouldn't be wearing when you are here. And today I'm wearing my colourful abaya.
I love it. I love the color.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yes.
So abayas, they're fantastic. I love it when you're feeling lazy, just throw one on and they look fabulous these days.
That's right.
It's great. So first of all, Orchids, can you please give us a little brief history on the traditional Emirati attire and the significance?
Absolutely. So, Emirati traditional attire, which is kandura for men and abaya for women, is not all about modesty. It's actually very deep-rooted. It has a deep-rooted significance, which is very, very practical in this climate. The abaya and the kandura is very appropriate for the desert climate. And let's be serious. You see the abaya and like I'm looking at you now and kandura, it looks simple, but it's really elegant. So that's the history basically. They come up with it because it's appropriate for the weather.
It's fantastic.
And it's very modest.
Very much so. And I mean, look, if I look at how things have evolved since I came in 2003, I grew up in Saudi Arabia. So I think a lot of people know that anyway. Yeah. So I was always used to seeing my mother wear an abaya out and about.
Yes.
Anyway.
Because it's a must there in Saudi.
It's a must. It's a must.
And you have to cover your hair as well.
She didn't always, actually.
Oh, okay.
So back then, it was quite okay. Depending where you were, right? Obviously in formal and governmental places, obviously you do that. For the UAE, I think things have evolved so much. When we look at take the abaya for an example, they used to be very much just blocky swathe of material. Now they're very form-fitting.
Yeah, I love it.
And the beading and the
colors, a lot of different colors now, which is so refreshing to see. You don't only see just one color, which is black, but now it become very trendy.
Yeah.
A lot of young Emirati, donning their abaya in a fashionable way.
Absolutely.
And I love it, yes.
And as you say, the men always look fantastic in kanduras.
Oh, yes, I love it. It looks so neat and it's not creased.
How are they always white? Like pristine, sparkling white.
I love it, yeah.
It's incredible. But, the perception when I first came to Dubai, obviously, I think it was a lot more modest because my parents were here from the 90s, so I've been coming from the mid-90s. Things have definitely changed over the years. I mean, as Dubai in particular has wanted to attract more tourists to the Emirates, and it's become a big economic factor for the Emirate. I think dress codes have relaxed a little bit, but I still think some people do push it too far.
Yes. It definitely evolved. Yes. It definitely evolved over the years. So you've been here longer than me, and you can see that we have a lot of stories to share later. And yes, tourists, they must know when they come in this region, how to dress modestly and respectfully, which we're going to talk later on, and also discuss about the misconceptions about the dress code here in the UAE.
There are lots of them.
There's a lot, yeah. So from your experience in the media industry, how have you seen professional dress codes change over the years? So professional, not just a casual setting. What changes have you seen?
To be honest with you, I don't think on a business front it's changed that much. I think people are still, in any business setting around the world, there are certain formalities. You know, if you come from a certain background, wearing abayas, kanduras, completely acceptable. It's fine. It's normal in a business setting. If you're an Emirati or come from one of the other Arab nations, obviously for people that come from elsewhere, the suits for men and women, perfectly acceptable, you know, formal dresses. I do feel like hemlines got shorter.
Okay, yeah.
In a business setting. I do feel like for the ladies, they started to push the boundaries a little bit. I mean, for me, in a business setting anywhere in the world, a mini skirt for me is not acceptable.
Okay, so
It
the reason,
just doesn't seem right.
yeah, the reason why I asked this because since COVID, a lot of workplaces, offices are doing this hybrid
Yes.
setting. And some companies are actually applying this casual Friday.
Yes.
And in your experience doing interviews or having some meetings, have you seen any changes? Because from my background, I always wear the uniform. So
Yeah.
we don't have that casual Friday. So I always wear the uniform every time I report for duty. How about office environment?
I mean, it depends what kind of office you work in. I mean, for me, many years, I worked in radio media. So 9 times out of 10, no one was in a suit. You're in jeans and a t-shirt, jeans and a shirt, dress, whatever you want, because it's media. All the
yes.
creatives,
The
don't do
creatives, yes.
formal so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Right? They kind of have very much their own style. But obviously, if you're going to a meeting with other people, then you'd be expected to dress a bit more formal. It depends on your office environment,
Yeah.
how formal that office is, what the company culture is for that office.
Yeah.
But casual Fridays, there's a line still.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. Bearing in mind that, again, in your office, you might have some conservative colleagues. So you have to be mindful, even though it's casual Friday, about the height of your hemline. Do you say it?
Yeah, right. I mean,
yeah,
read the room.
the neckline.
Yeah.
The neckline. Again, we will talk about the events in the
Yes.
UAE where you have to be really mindful of your dress code. But yes, you've said casual Friday, nothing really changed over the years.
No.
But then again, the modesty, how you want to be respected by your colleagues, still up to this day, I think it's still.
You just
the
have to
same.
be
Yeah.
mindful. It has to be
True.
in the back of your mind. So, Orchids, what are some of the essential guidelines expats should remember when dressing for business meetings or formal events? What should we be looking out for?
Yeah. So it's very important that, again, when you go out for a meeting, to dress appropriately, like business attire. I'm saying about maybe a long sleeves. You don't need to wear, the formal suit, especially during summer, but maybe a long sleeve shirt and a trouser, nice trouser will do. I think that's very appropriate in a professional setting, especially if it's your first time to meet this particular person. You have to dress modestly, regardless of which culture they're coming from. Watch out for your neckline. If you're wearing a skirt, again, make sure that it's 1 inch below the knee. Because remember, when you sit down, that skirt will
rises.
go. It rises. So be mindful of that. And also for men, I've mentioned not the full suit maybe, but again, it would be nice to meet someone in long sleeve shirt.
Yeah.
Cotton long sleeve shirt. Again, it's very appropriate for this weather because it's very hot here. For shoes, some people might think, local people actually wear sandals.
Yeah.
But sandals are not created equal.
No.
So because they wear you might think, but because they wear sandals, that you can also wear sandals. Again, it's appropriate to wear, closed
Yeah.
shoes, closed leather shoes, and not sneakers
Yeah,
in a
no,
professional
absolutely.
setting. Yeah.
Absolutely. So lots of things to be mindful of.
Yes,
I like
true.
this bit. Have we got any memorable or humorous moments that we've had related to dress code in various places? I always had a colleague of mine, Emirati,
Yeah.
and he was so funny. And he always had in the boot of his car, he'd have a bag with various items of clothing depending on the
Interesting.
situation.
Okay.
Because at work a lot of the time he would wear his kandora.
Yeah.
Not always, but a lot of the time he'd wear his kandora. And sometimes we go out after work to socialize. So obviously he was not allowed to wear his kandora in these places. So
Yeah.
he'd change into his jeans and shirt or whatever. So he literally had items of clothing for every scenario in the back of his car.
Oh wow, that's very, very interesting. Oh, I forgot to mention earlier, business setting here. I know some ladies, even though they're expats, but they love wearing abayas. I've seen that.
I love it.
Yeah, and you might, we always talk about modesty and being simple, especially with our accessories. But here, actually, they love to accessorize.
Yes.
So you see like statement earrings or statement rings, which is actually very nice to see because you're already covered
Yeah.
with your abaya or, with your shaila. And one statement ring can actually make a difference.
Yeah.
So it is acceptable in a professional setting to wear a statement piece, if you say. So I want to, yes, include that as well in a professional setting, that it is acceptable. You don't have to, stick to your pearl earrings or a stud diamond. Here in this region,
Yeah.
the bigger accessorizing is actually the norm. It's
Absolutely.
acceptable.
Absolutely. So have you come across any memorable moments, all kids?
Yeah.
When it
Memorable.
comes to a dress or attire?
Because I was part of an organization where everyone wears the same uniform. So, which is very, very strict that we have to adhere to. I can think of it. If I think of something later, I will.
Okay.
Yes, I will. I will share it with you. At the
Okay.
moment, I don't have. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. So, how have you navigated or adapted to the dress code while attending social events or outings? So now we are in a social dress code from beaches to malls.
Yeah, so basically, what are we looking at? So, oh my gosh, there's certain things you will see on the shopping malls on the door. There is a sign that says, please dress modestly.
Yes.
I mean, look, as a rule, if you're going to public places, and this includes shopping malls, public transport, things like that, ideally you should have your shoulders covered and anything you wear should be to the knee or below the knee. I mean, I just want to roll my eyes and touch. It's so, when I see what some people wear in the malls here, I'm like, that is not, you wouldn't even wear that where you come from. Why are you wearing it here? It's not appropriate. And people coming straight off the beach, going to the shopping mall, the swimsuit can be wet underneath, so it goes see-through and everything. It's just not appropriate. It's not appropriate at all. You have to be mindful. And
True.
someone actually messaged as well, saying, they went to, this is something you have to be really careful of, saying they went to the RTA government office wearing shorts and a t-shirt and were refused entry. In government offices, you must be dressed modestly.
Yeah.
They normally have a whole rack of abayas at the entrance. So if you're a lady, you can just pick one up and put one on. That's not a problem. But any governmental office or organization, you must be dressed. And it's not just covering the shoulders. It's got to be down to the elbow.
True. And this is not only for women,
Yeah, for
including
men as
men. So
well.
shorts is not allowed. And not just government offices, actually embassies as well.
Yes.
Embassies have dress code.
And in Sharjah is the emirate that is much more conservative. It's the most conservative emirate we have in the UAE. In the shopping malls, men are still required to wear shorts below the knee. They do not like it if they're shorter. Even men have to be dressed modestly.
Okay, cool. All right, so this is really, really interesting. So let's talk about the misconceptions of dress codes here in the UAE, because we've mentioned earlier that dress codes have evolved over the
yes.
years. But for people who are planning to come to visit UAE as a tourist or moving here for work, let's deep dive on this topic.
I mean,
Okay.
one for me, orchids, that drives me insane is you see women wearing thong bikinis on the beach. Technically, it's still not allowed. Still not allowed. Still on the beach, you still
Public
have
beaches
to,
or
public
beaches. We're talking about.
It's not. It's not appropriate. It's really not appropriate. It still says in the guidelines you should wear appropriate swimwear.
So if we talk about appropriate swimwear, what is your idea on it?
So
bikini or one piece?
No.
Burkini.
Bikini is fine, but it's appropriate to the environment that you are in. If you are going to a place where you know there's going to be lots of local families, don't wear a thong string bikini. It's not, save it for the hotel pool or the private beaches, whatever. Public beaches, I would say a no-no. And interesting point when it comes to appropriate swimwear, because those people that they want to swim in be modest when they're swimming.
Yes.
A t-shirt and leggings are not appropriate swimwear. Why? Because the material's not meant to be in the water and it's actually a drowning hazard. So if you're going to do that, you need to buy clothing that is meant to be in the water. So it's a rash vest, which is, surfers wear, a bikini, which gives you the coverage, comes with or without the head covering, but it has to be a material that is specifically made to be in the water, because otherwise you're a potential drowning hazard.
Yes. I think it's very important we talk about this because Dubai is also famous or popular for beaches and also theme parks. Yeah. A lot of tourists go to we have a lot of water theme parks here. So again, we want to reiterate that if you go to public beaches, no string. Again, be mindful that, some people here are still conservative, but feel free to wear if you're in, private beach in the hotel.
Yeah.
Then you can wear. Here, we're so, they actually offer a lot of swimwear from burkini to monokini, everything you can buy here. Good. So let's talk about going to the mall. Yeah, a lot of hotels here are connected to the mall.
They are.
Again, just because you put a t-shirt over your bikini, then you go to the mall.
Yeah,
it's not mall appropriate.
And and you see people wearing short shorts. It's not, no.
Funny that you mentioned about that because in 2007, I was actually approached by a mall security, that my short was too short. So previously, they hand out this card that says, wear respectable clothing.
Yes. Yeah.
But I don't see that now here in the mall. I think because of there's a big flock of tourists coming into Dubai and to be more welcoming and accommodating. But then again, if you are planning to visit the UAE, just be mindful about your clothing.
I mean, look, it's not hard, particularly for women, to carry a pashmina or a shawl or a kaftan that you can just throw on, or pick up a cheap abaya. They don't cost much, that you can wear. And it's not just about respecting a local culture. Another point I want to bring up, you have a lot of laborers and workers here that head to the malls and public places on their days off. They haven't seen their families, their women folk, for years. So it's being mindful of that as well, and respectful for them in that respect, if you know what I'm saying. You just have to be mindful of these things. Plus, the malls are freezing.
Yes. I think people actually bring shorts and all the spaghetti strap tops because knowing that the weather here in the Middle East is very hot. So they would say, why would I bring jeans or trousers? It's too hot in Dubai or in the UAE. So they bring all these, shorts and what do you call it? Spaghetti, like singlet, as you say, And but the stares that you will get,
that's
when you
the
go
thing.
to the mall,
It's just
the
to
stairs,
avoid being stared at as well, which is not a pleasant experience.
There's a lot of pashmina that you can buy as well here around the UAE. which you can use to cover yourself, especially in the mall, because our malls here are so freezing.
Exactly.
As you said, yeah.
But what about, so we've talked about the malls, we've talked about the beaches, the government offices, but what about social events like concerts and entertainment events? What would be your take on that?
Depending on what type of event that I'm attending to. Yeah. So if it's a music festival, a lot of people actually dress up. I think now it's very acceptable to be, who you are, like dress what you feel like. But then again, I wouldn't go to a music festival in my bikini.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I'll wear a shorts with, with costume, with a, big hair. But then again, I wouldn't wear something that you're almost naked going to a concert.
Yeah.
So that would be my take on it.
And I think also be mindful if you have, let me say, certain artists that appeal to certain parts of society. I remember one specifically in Abu Dhabi many, many years ago. And because of the audience they tend to attract, you had people literally going into the bathrooms wearing something, coming out, dressing something out, and literally some of the authorities were going, and they were like, but it's just a costume, it's just a costume, it's just a costume, it's just for the event. And there was a lot of freaking out. So again, you have to be mindful of certain situations in that it's still going to be a little bit of a bone of contention sometimes, I think. So you just have to be careful. Okay, so the act in question was the Scissor Sisters. Okay. And they performed in Abu Dhabi. And if you know what kind of audience the Scissor Sisters have and how people like to dress up or not, or whatever as the case may be, it was causing a bit of a bone of contention. I mean, look, we had, I'll just say it. You had guys dressing formally and conservatively, going into the bathroom, coming out in leopard print catsuits. Okay. Like to that point that the authorities were freaking out because they were like, what is happening right now?
Let's just think that it's Halloween tonight.
So it's just a costume. We're just dressing up. It's fine. But speaking about cultural sensitivities, orchids, let's look at things like Ramadan, Eid, local weddings, because these have very specific dress codes.
Definitely, yes. So during Ramadan, which actually happens once a year for the full month, even government, the government are very strict for everyone to adhere to the proper dress code. Again, I've been an expat here for a very long time. I still adhere to the dress code. If you're a tourist here, make sure to dress modestly because this is the time where, it's the holy month.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you say holy, make sure you don't wear shorts when you go to church or you go to the mosque. So think it that way.
Yeah.
So it's the holy month, so you have to dress modestly.
And as Ramadan has moved around the year, the months, and it's falling into the tourist seasons now. So people, and look, basically it's ops normal across the board. Most things are open, events are happening, bars and whatever are open, when they always have been. But it's just people will have the temptation that you just have to be careful that you should still dress modestly in public. And it's not like you have to wear a full abaya, everything. Just cover your shoulders and down to your knees, and be mindful if you're going somewhere where you're going to particularly Muslim areas that they are fasting, and fasting for Muslims during Ramadan means not seeing people.
True. What I would say is respect the culture of the country you're visiting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you can wear whatever you want back to your country, but you're a visitor here. So be respectful of their tradition and their culture. That's what I wanted to say.
And what about local weddings?
Interesting, because I actually got invited.
Oh, you did?
A long time ago. It was my first Emirati wedding. And I was very, very, conscious about what to wear. I must say that when I got there, all the women were so fashionably dressed.
Yeah.
Because they go to the wedding, they wear abaya, and the moment they, reach the hall, then they remove the abaya, and basically you can wear whatever. But the tradition here is not really that really super tight cocktail dress.
Yeah.
They love ball gowns. That's what I observed at that time. Or like, long dresses, which is really, really beautiful. So again, weddings here in Dubai, Emirate, local weddings, men are separated from the women.
Yeah.
So that's why, you can wear whatever you want. Just make sure that, if you're in doubt, ask the bride. Yeah, ask the bride
What they would like you to wear.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
What is appropriate and not appropriate, and then she can guide you.
And what about, are there any specific clothing items or accessories that expats are incorporating into their wardrobe to blend in locally?
Oh, yes.
What do you see?
Yes. I would say, now I can see you. You're wearing the abaya. Yes, you've embraced the culture. I actually owned one as well. And it's so comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can just put it on and then you can, go. And another thing is the henna.
Oh, the
Yes,
henna, yes.
henna, yes. I think that's one thing that a lot of expats have embraced.
Yeah.
It's nice, especially like, when you go back to your home country and you have a little bit of henna. It's a nice way to see, like, look, like I got this from Dubai, and it's so beautiful, and it's part of their culture. I think these two are the most prominent, traditional or culture that a lot of expats have embraced.
Yeah.
How about you? What have you observed over the years?
I like the henna. I think people do like to take cultural aspects back with them. Whenever I see a lot of, male friends that used to visit, they'd always take a Kandora back with them.
Oh, yeah.
Things like that. It's just, the traditional things that they have, more for the home, more than clothing-wise.
Oh, yes.
That people take back, like the rugs, the coffee pots, the tea sets, things like this. I think a lot of people really get into shisha.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And take the hookah pipes back with them, or find out where they can get them. I see that a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I actually have one now in mind. Remember, there was a time where the big sunglasses for women was a big thing with local women. So they wear their shawl and their abaya, and all you see these big sunglasses. Yes, yeah.
I think that's gone now. It's gone now. I don't see that very often anymore, to be fair.
That was a time where not just local women, but everyone was wearing these big sunglasses, I think, because it was the trend back then.
Thank goodness that's all gone and over with.
So this question is from Linda. She says, I'm moving to the UAE for work next month.
Ooh.
Can I wear shorts and sleeveless tops in public?
You can, but it depends where you are in public.
True.
I mean, look, people will wear it everywhere. They will wear it in the malls. It's not advised. Again, like we were talking earlier, if you want to avoid the stares and the occasional, disgruntled, disapproving look, it's not advisable in the malls and places like that. But touristy places, the beach.
Yes. And actually, a lot of cultural places, like if you go on a tour to the Grand Mosque and even the mosque here, you are supposed to cover yourself.
You have to. They won't let you. They won't let you in.
Absolutely, yeah. And we've mentioned about government offices and even the public library here. They want you to,
I mean, like, if you're going on a desert safari or something, absolutely fine. No problem at all. If you're doing tourist stuff, no problem at all, unless it's, like you say, going to
the mosque,
the mosques or cultural
places.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, question number 2. This is from Sally. And she said, I've got tattoos on my arms and legs. Do I need to keep them covered all the time?
No, you don't. But again, you need to be mindful of where you are at the time. Because again, in some places, it's still... Tattoos are a bit of a weird one. Tattoos, a lot of very, very conservative people still don't like them because according to Islam, any alteration of the body is haram, as far as my understanding. So tattoos are haram normally. But having said that, I have Emirati friends who are covered in tattoos and piercings, right? So it just depends. But if you're going into certain places, then just cover them up, I would say. But most places you'll be okay. But just like anything.
Yeah. Actually, I have a question just popped in my mind because we talk about shorts, tattoos. How about if you're transiting in Dubai? So you're staying in Dubai International Airport.
In the airport.
So
I mean, you're in an airport situation. The airport's cold. Look, your airport transits. It's basically international waters, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's international waters. It's a no man's land as it was. So, but just what would you wear to be comfortable when traveling, basically? But still, I think you should be mindful of it is a public place, and there are people from different nationalities and backgrounds from all over the world. But would you wear shorts and a tiny thing? And I mean, let's face it, airlines have dress codes.
Yes.
Because airlines have dress codes, and we've seen stories where people have been refused boarding or offloaded because of inappropriate travel attire.
it rarely happened here, but you can see
elsewhere.
On social media.
Elsewhere.
Yeah, true.
Definitely. I put out on my socials a couple of things to get people's thoughts over dress codes. So I just want to read a couple if that's okay. So James basically says, does dress codes even exist? Are they selected to the community or neighborhoods you belong in? Do malls have their own policies? And is the beach an exception to the rule if they exist at all? So he's obviously being a little bit of sarcasm in there because he's obviously seen things change over the years and people pushing the boundaries. But this is the thing, even expats get a little bit annoyed at people coming and...
True. What else do we have there?
Feroz says, I don't care how people dress in their home countries, but they should follow the dress code in the UAE in public.
Absolutely.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Fair point. Absolutely. And coming back to this one again, whereas Paul says about going to the RTA Dubai court wearing shorts and wasn't let in. That doesn't surprise me because it's not appropriate to that setting.
Again, Dubai is very accommodating, very welcoming to expats and tourists alike. Just be mindful, again, you're visiting a country where it's traditionally conservative.
Yeah.
So how you dress is also very, very important. So be mindful of that. I think we use the word mindful a lot in this
we do,
in this episode.
I mean, it's just common sense, a lot of it. It's just common sense. I mean, I would say some things I see and I'm sitting there with my judgment face going, oh no, that's not right here. It's just be mindful and have some common sense about you, and just, because it is a melting pot of nationalities and cultural backgrounds. So read up. If you're a tourist coming to the UAE, read up. There's all the information on tourist websites, on the governmental websites. And this is the kind of thing, Orchids, that slightly annoys me. There's no excuse for not knowing this information. We live in a day and age where information is freely available to you at the click of a button.
I know.
There's no excuse.
True. And also the company culture. If you're coming here to the UAE for work, learn about the culture of your company, how the people dress up, and your colleagues get to know what. I know that in one company there will be like 80 nationalities working there, or even more. Then again, you have to dress modestly and respectfully. Yeah.
But I have a little bit of a take on the abaya, if that's okay. I actually think having an abaya is actually very freeing. Because I know I mean, look at the beautiful colors, and I have several different shapes, different colors, lots of beading and everything. And there's such beautiful items of clothing, and it's actually freeing because no one's going to stare at you and judge you for what you're wearing. It's actually freeing for a woman to wear an abaya. And
I'm happy don't see that. I'm happy that you think of it that way, because some women here, they might think that if they wear abaya, they're actually mocking the tradition. because they feel like, oh, but because I'm not local or I'm not Muslim, why would I be wearing their
Not at all.
traditional costume? So here, yes, as I can see, there's a lot of expats who love wearing abaya, and then they embrace it and wear it sometimes, not every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I host a lot of events, and sometimes the request does come down because there might be very, very conservative delegates from other surrounding countries. So the request does, please, can you wear an abaya?
Oh, that's nice.
You get requested
Okay.
to wear it just because it's simpler and easier, and to be honest, it takes a lot of the guesswork and drama out of trying to find something
to wear. True, absolutely.
And
yes,
also get a jalabiya. Jalabiyas are amazing. There's such gorgeous items of clothing.
So for someone who doesn't know about jalabiya, so can you explain to us?
So it's a loose-fitting item of clothing. Normally, it has a couple of layers. So you have an underlayer, then the one on top is normally the one that's very intricately beaded or stitched. Sometimes it'll have a print on it or plain, and you can wear this either on its own or normally put an abaya over the top of it.
Yes.
But depending on the color of your jalabiya, you would pick an abaya of a complementing color to go with it. So I have a white and gold one. And so I wear a dusky pink abaya over the top, and it looks gorgeous. They look stunning when you pair these together.
So basically, it's the dress inside the abaya.
The abaya, yes. And no one is ever going to have a go at you or look down at you or think you're being disrespectful for wearing these. They are really not. In fact, they will say, that's amazing. You look fantastic. It would be appreciated.
True. And then again, here in Dubai, it's more relaxed. You can actually wear abaya without wearing the shaila.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of local women as well wearing abaya, but they're letting their hair flow.
Yeah.
And it looks beautiful
And
still.
it's interesting to see how different women wear the shaila. Some of it covers the hairline, so you don't see anything, and then others it kind of creeps back.
Yes.
To some it'll just be sitting here, right? So it depends, where they come from, what
It's
their
becoming
personal
trendy.
style
Yes,
is.
personal style.
I love to see the ladies style
What's the
the
trend?
outfits in different ways. It's beautiful.
True.
Yeah, we got and the cat. I love the winter kandoras.
The
The
winter-
dark colours, the greys, the
Oh,
dark
yes,
blues.
yes.
A black Candora looks fantastic. It really, really does. And the dark navy blue ones, gorgeous. And then you have the summer colours, which are the cream, not the white, the cream or the slightly yellow one. So the Candoras come in different colours as well. I've seen a green one as well. Very rare, but I have seen a green one. So there's all these different colours and styles and designs coming into the local attire, and it's really amazing.
So let's talk about piercing. What is your take on piercing here in the UAE in a professional setting?
Again, it depends what your setting is.
Because culturally, here or in some parts of South Asia, so nose piercing
Of course,
is part.
yeah.
Yes, so you can see that they still wear in the office.
Yeah.
But other types of piercing, like
You have
basically
other facial
the others-
piercings.
yes,
you have
yes.
the nose,
The nose-
or
the nose
on here,
ring,
or
yeah.
one here, or you'll have some other ones. I don't know. For me, I don't like them anyway. For me, it's a personal thing. I just don't think it looks particularly nice when it comes to piercing. I'm all for simplicity, but it's up to someone's personal choice. But it depends on the setting that you're going into.
Yeah. Here in Dubai, in a professional setting, you'd see it is acceptable for the nose pierce.
If it's your
because part
cultural
of the
background,
culture,
yes.
yes.
But if it's
you don't have to, remove it if you go to the office.
But if it's a personal adornment, I would think twice about it.
Yeah.
Basically,
Unless you're in media or
unless you're in
the
media or
creatives.
creatives.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't want to keep using that excuse for people, though. Something I wanted to touch on, though, because we've spoken a lot, Orchids, about kind of lent towards the dress code for women, but let's not forget men are held to the same dress codes. I mean, I hate it when you go to the beach and guys are in budgie smugglers and they don't have a great body and it just looks horrible. And I'm just like, Why? Just, do you know?
What do you call it?
A
Budgie.
budgie smuggler.
Or
Speedos, basically. You know, it's not a good thing. And you see, and it's jarring sometimes when you see the woman is wearing modest attire and then the guy is just wearing whatever he wants. And it doesn't sit right. I'm like, it's actually for both.
Okay, so we're talking about in public beaches.
Yeah, or just
or even in a hotel, it bothers you.
Or even in malls, you know, it's just
in malls.
Like you'll see some women wearing abayas, and then the guy's wearing shorts and a vest top or something, and it's like, what? It's just it's meant to be.
I haven't seen one wearing like almost Speedos in the mall.
No,
not
but
in
just,
the mall.
You know, like above the knee shorts or whatever, but still, it's like, but particularly like on the beaches where the women are wearing the burkini or whatever, and the guy is just wearing teeny tiny swim shorts.
But you know that in Brazil they wear that.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, they wear.
I say those should be reserved to swimming athletes and divers, professional divers and swimmers. Are the only people that should be wearing those. But for me, it's jarring because it's supposed to be for both.
Okay. I think if you're, in the hotel, in your private hotel pool and beach, you can wear, those Speedos. But if you're, again, depending which public beach you are, because if you're in Jumeirah area, where there's a lot of Western expats and tourists, I think it's more acceptable because people really don't care. But if you go to the other side of town where there's a lot of conservative people living, then you have to think twice if you want to wear that Speedos or those thongs. Yes.
But my main point was when it comes to couples and other people, where the female is being modest and the man that is with her is not. It's supposed to apply.
Yeah.
Like they're still supposed to be a little bit more.
And again, guys, if you're in, here in the beach, sunbathing without your top is a big no-no.
Oh, it's a big
This
no-no.
is not Europe.
I've seen some women try to do it around hotel pools, and security are literally right. It's like, no, you can't. It's not the Costa del Sol. It's not one of those kind of places. You have to be very, very mindful of that. And I've seen some, horrendous bikinis on the beach, and I'm just like, not really appropriate. So, super interesting discussion, Orchids. Everything on dress code. We can go on for this one for a very, very long time. But a nice, fun conversation. Sure.
And we can keep, as you've said, we can keep on and on about this topic. And I hope you guys find this episode insightful and helpful. And if you have other questions for our upcoming episode, which is about business etiquette.
Yes, it is.
Happening very soon. Send us your question and any other topics that you want me and Emma to discuss. We'd be happy to hear from you.
MannersUnfiltered@gmail.com is the email address, or of course you can just drop into our DMs on any of the socials. That would be amazing.
Yes, and we would really appreciate if you can give us a feedback about this episode. It would really help us get more audience.
Amazing. Thank you so much. See you next time, guys. That's
Bye.
it for an episode of Manners Unfiltered.
Where you can learn all about the world of etiquette and manners. Manners Unfiltered. This is Manners Unfiltered. Learn about style. Manners Unfiltered. The UAE culture is all that matters.